Shut up and sit down.
Well, for the third and final time in the 2022 calendar, the ChampCar iRacing Series is at Virginia International Raceway. We've had the South Course, we've had the full circuit, we're on the North Course, the sort of intermediate of the three, and it's in the Volkswagen Jetta. David Haynes with you here on HJBC with Alex Albert. Alex, maybe a little unseasonably warm for this time of year in this location?
Yeah, I would say it's maybe a few degrees warmer than you might expect. We're holding the race here with October weather, which would be accurate, to our calendar as we are today, but not to the traditional race date, the first weekend in December.
Round 15, we're pretty deep into our 16-round calendar. Just the Ford Mustang at Sebring later on to close us out. Plenty of great prizes have been on offer this season in the ChampCar iRacing Series. Our season champion, points champion, I suspect is already locked up. We'll get confirmation of that one for you next round. But of course, the participation credits of great value are still to be decided. I had a look. There's at least 10 to 12 drivers who've completed the 12 rounds to get their name in the draw to maybe get drawn 1,500 ChampCar credits. That could go quite a long way.
Oh, for sure. That's probably enough to get a stint each day on your average ChampCar weekend. So, yeah, I'm sure any racer here would be happy to receive that balance in their ChampCar account.
So our drivers of great participation have been Patrick Pursley, Ian Giebler, Andrew Kosick, Tim Wire, Sean Saputra. I think those drivers have almost not missed a single race since we kicked off the calendar in February. We've got Jared Kubert, Charles Kowalczyk, who've definitely done 12. There's this Alex Albert fella. I can't remember if he raced last round. If he did, he got to 12. And some of the drivers who haven't quite reached competing in 12 rounds of the championship are on the grid, though, in Justin Hall and Jordan Butler. So we'll see how they go in this car. Of course, we visit a lot of the great circuits of the ChampCar Endurance Series across this sim racing calendar. We also like to change the car around a little bit. This is one of our Volkswagen Jetta rounds, and like I said, the finale is going to be in the Ford Mustang at Sebring for a 2-hour race. Qualifying is almost done, and they're going to grid up, and it is a 1-hour race for us, the standard format tonight.
Yeah, just taking a look here at the sheet, it looks like most of the drivers have got their laps in. Nicholas Love there showed up late to the paddock, quick through tech inspection, right out onto the track, and within 1/10 of a second of Tim Wire here. So I think Tim was riding around there for a while, maybe thinking this was going to be one of his more easy races, but it looks like Nick has showed up and he is ready to race, and he's got the pace.
Tim's the man in the YouTube thumbnail. Have I cursed him for this round, or is that going to be a lucky charm? We'll find out. Let's look at the grid. Qualifying now complete. A 1-hour race ahead of us. There is going to be a mandatory pit stop as well, so drivers will keep that in mind. But the front row of the grid, looking resplendent, is Tim Wire and Nick Love. Behind them, you will not miss the mint of Andrew Kosick, and Tanner Dibble not yet on the grid, but he did qualify in the 4th place there. Then Charles Kowalczyk and John Wilding, Mark Kruger and Jordan Butler, and Justin Hall, Ben Sandberg at the top 10. We did see Alex Coffard, Shane Cameron, and we might not see Wade Cheater.
Yeah, reports of the paddock are that Wade has went ahead and packed it up for the evening. Hope to see him again next round down in Sebring.
That's certainly a fantastic circuit and also a car that might excite people a little more. The thing about this Volkswagen Jetta is everyone is so close to 9/10 of the pace. It is so hard to find that final 10th. It races very, very closely, and that's going to put a great deal of emphasis on that one and only pit stop in this race. It's going to be so critical that you take the right amount of gallon.
Yeah, of what kind of fuel, David?
It's definitely very, very clean diesel.
Yeah, so typically we talk about gas here and how much we're going to need tonight. We'll need to make sure that we remember that it's diesel. It's the sticky, oily type of fuel. I think there have been some Champ cars campaigned with diesel engines. It's hard for me to believe with the thousands of cars that have raced that, or maybe hundreds, that no one has tried a diesel engine at this point. I know that some of my friends and we've definitely talked about it.
Well, there's plenty of advantages to it why you'd see someone give it a go. They tend to be relatively difficult to kill, which is a great positive in our style of motor racing. And there's definitely some advantages to the stint lengths to be had given greater energy density to the diesel. So we're on our formation lap here. We do get a beautiful full tour of the facilities of VIR North as they were a bit over a decade ago.
Yeah, and looking down there through the running order, Justin Hall, one of the championship contenders, noticing he's going to be starting towards the back of the grid, but Justin has some familiarity with that. Just last Saturday, Justin passed more cars than anyone else on the broadcast SCCA runoff finals in the Formula V. So he made up 26 positions in 35 minutes. So I'd say 8 positions in 60 should be an easier day's work here.
Don't need to do any long division to work that one out. The number is smaller. You might be able to do it. So this is the part of the circuit that's different to the full course, to the IMSA course, whatever you want to call it. They cut across just before the climbing S's, straight back across to the famous roller coaster and hog pen here, and then that's your lap just about completed. So obviously best overtaking opportunity is going to be into that turn 1 hairpin. You can slipstream to some extent in these cars, and that could help you make a pass there. They're very well bunched up as they come through the final sector. Our very good-looking pace car, Bill Strong wishes, is going to pull in to the pit lane. Pole sitter Tim Wire does not make them wait. He's keen to get going. The green flag is going to get waved with more vigor than Tim Cook could ever muster, and they'll head down towards turn number 1. Your pole sitter converting cleanly into the lead. Nick Love following him along in second, and they start to get a little more single file further back. Big movement under the braking there, I think, from Jordan Butler, though. And there's been a bit of contact.
I think that might be Wilding. Yeah, that's Wilding that went into the grass there. He's one of the, I'm showing pink Jettas.
Yeah, definitely. John Wilding has dropped to the back of the field. Didn't catch exactly where the contact was amongst that Group B drift from Andrew Kosick, but it's front wheel drive. So the correct course of action is just to plant the right boot. That's what he's done, and it's picked up. Kept him facing forward, but he's under a lot of pressure now immediately from Tanner Dibble and Charles Kowalczyk.
Yeah, wow, we got a little 3-car group there starting to form. Andy Kosick, he is a driver very familiar with front wheel drive, so starting to show his prowess here up the hill, climbing through the S's, through the Stevie Wonder, into the roller coaster.
Yeah, and now it's Tanner Dibble in the 69, maybe most under pressure from Kowalczyk in what looks like solid blue to me. That race suit's not going to pass Tech, unfortunately.
Yeah, everyone's working their way through Hogpen. That's a very tough corner. You want to push because it's so critical to the lap time, but if you run wide, you really pay for it. Although maybe not in this car as bad as some others, because I've noticed the drivers with the front-wheel drive are able to maintain control maybe a little better than other cars I've seen go off there.
Bit more battling further back in the pack. That looks like Kruger and Coffard are side by side. It's 8th place. You want to be on the left-hand side, though. The track keeps turning left, and that's why, if you're on the outside, you just start to run out of space. Alex Coffard moves up a spot. And then Wilding, we know to be a pretty decent driver. Shane Cameron didn't look like he got a whole lot of warm-up or qualifying in, but he's right in and amongst this group. And that's what we say about the Jetta. To hot lap it, it is maybe one of the most dull things in the world. But in a racing situation, they are always so close like this. And you see Kruger get in a little later on the brakes, trying to pick up a later apex. And it does seem like you could push a little wider out there, cut across the grass, and not suffer any harm in a car like this, though.
Yeah, this car, very momentum important, not a lot of power, and it's part of why it's just so hard to pass with the so many gears, the quick shift. If you make a mistake with the little power and the ability to pull out and pass, it just makes it
second
so
place.
hard to pass.
Nick Love's off the road after the hog pen. He's dropping back 2 spots. I was just seeing the lead for Tim Wire start to expand, and I thought, uh-oh, Love has got a little bit of a problem. It means Tanner Dibble, Andrew Kosick now 2nd and 3rd. Kowalczyk's going to have a look, though, for a now top 3 position. He's down the inside. He's on the brakes. I'm pretty sure it's an ABS in these. They are so close to a road car. I don't think there's much else on iRacing other than the Pontiac Solstice that is more just one-for-one road car with a roll cage in it.
I think you're right there, David. Yeah, Nick showing the problem with not getting those laps in practice that maybe some of his competitors did. Missing the consistency, pushed it a little too much through the hog pen, like I'd mentioned the lap before, and he paid the price. Now he's, let's see, quite a bit back, about 4 seconds it looks like.
Yeah, he rejoined right in the middle of this group, now in 5th. So from 2nd through to 7th, they are completely squashed together here. Justin Hall is now that 7th place, but it gives the biggest gap between cars out on circuit to Tim Wire in the lead, back to 2nd place.
Yeah, Tanner Dibble, we're going to see here if he's able to, now that he's got the clean air, put together some clean laps. He had some pace in practice. Not sure if he has quite Tim's 1-lap pace, but Tanner...
Why he said that, Tim Wire has also made the same mistake. Off wide at the hog pen, the lead has gone and dropped all that time. Tanner Dibble's going to take it away from him. One of us has cursed him, Alex. Was it me or you?
I don't know. I was talking good about Dibble, so I guess maybe it's my fault.
We'll leave that stewards post race.
Yeah, that hog bin sure has been tough for the drivers. Maybe there's a little bit of foreshadowing there a couple laps ago. Maybe it did put a bit of a curse on him.
Talking about taking the road car and putting it straight onto the racetrack, there's, even in an open setup, no adjustability to the suspension, the damping, etc. You notice oh so clearly that every time they jump across any of these curbs, the car doesn't land in one step. It bounces a little bit, and you know, I know, many people know the hog pen, you've kind of got to launch it off that apex curb. If when it lands, it doesn't settle, then maybe that's causing some of these mistakes, some unpredictability to what the car is going to do when it lands.
Yeah, for sure. This car does not have any of the racing upgrades that most cars on iRacing has. And as I begin to talk, I see the leader dipping some tires in the grass. Tim Wire's right back to his bumper here. But yeah, the only setup option with this car is the fuel level. And that's, I know no other car with that little of option. Wow, Tim up on 2 wheels through the hog bin that time. Demonstrating just what you were talking about, really throwing it through there.
It's the kind of thing that is the quick line 9 times out of 10, and that other 10%, the car just bounces more than you expect. You go out wide, you're on that grass, the circuit keeps curving away from you. It's tough to get back to the shore as it was. Third place, though, Nick Love, after the mistake he made there, looking to get 1 spot back, and I think he's gotten past Kowalczyk. So a little bit of movement a bit further back.
Yeah, Nick Love now up to 4th, making a move there on his Love Racing teammate. And he's all over the bumper of Kosick here as we work towards turn 5 and through the snake.
Super close times for your top 5 on the last lap, with the exception of Wire, who we know had a problem. It's sort of 31-2, 39-2, 39-3, just a 10th one way, 10th the other. It shows how close they are together. As they come up the top of that hill, some drivers do seem to go a little wider than others, connect to some of that extra pavement that is the Patriot course.
Yeah, I noticed a little farther back, Butler and Hall are running together, but I think they might be able to get on the back of this train if the leaders continue to make mistakes and mix it up. It looks like Cofford is falling off the back of Hall, but Wilding and Kruger are still together.
Oh, Butler catches that dirt on the hog pen, and you see it just takes 1 drive tire in the grass, and it just pulls you further out as the circuit keeps turning towards the right and your car keeps going straight ahead.
I swear to the viewers I did not coat that corner in antifreeze. But it has been very troublesome for the drivers tonight.
Sure has.
And Nick Love has got by Andy Kosick there, now in 3rd, pushing back up to our leader.
If there's one driver catching that final corner right, it might be Nick Love at the moment.
I'd say so. Tim looked like lost a bit of the drive there compared to Tanner through the snake. Oh, wow. Kowalczyk, very wide.
So close to hitting those very, very unforgiving concrete blocks, and somehow he's going to get away with that, but it's going to cost him time, but he's going to keep the car together.
Yeah, that section of the track from turn 7 all the way up here to the roller coaster takes a lot of commitment, especially turn 7. You're coming up the hill, you're blind, you cannot see the exit of the corner, and you just have to use your clues of where it is. And then the rest of the turns are, they're all blind, and just takes a lot of commitment keeping your foot planted.
Things are getting closer at the lead. Dibble's not absolutely nailed the final corner. Tim Wire's done it pretty well, and he's getting close as they approach the braking zone for turn 1, but here comes Nick Love in and out. My goodness.
He just ran out of brakes, kind of like I have before. I had an incident one time at the South Course in this car where I felt like I just braked at the same place and just the brakes didn't work. So I'm not sure if VWs have ice mode, but maybe that's what happened.
It looks like it's all got in a little too late. Very heads up stuff from Dibble and Wire to not get cleaned up by that. So no dramas really for Tim Wire. It's a good thing. We've got many drivers with an underwear sponsor because they might need it. Kind of thins them out a little bit at the front though, because with that dropping back, it's just 3 at the lead at the moment. Dibble leading it from Wire from Kosick. Hogpen is the surprising action zone of the race so far for me. There's Dibble.
Oh, wow.
Getting the
Yeah.
tires in the air, having to get out of the throttle to make sure it stays on the circuit. Tim Wire, RNG, a little bit of luck. He picks it up very cleanly. Good momentum, early throttle out of the final corner. And that's as done deal of a pass as I think you'll ever see.
Yeah, I think so. And those guys behind here have got to be loving this. But as we see, Tim gets in a bit deep, able to keep it on the track. But I saw Nick Loves back there making his charge to the front again.
So let's see. Quickest on that lap just gone was actually Kosick. No, Kowalczyk quicker than him as well, but hasn't set a lap without an off track yet as Kowalczyk. So he's been a little bit loose and free with the track limits, and we saw that coming up the hill after the snake here at this part of the track not long ago.
For sure, all the drivers are using a lot of curb out there to help get this car turned. Oh, some crashing back there at the Patriot pits.
Jordan Butler's got a lot of damage to him. What happened in that group? He had his teammate behind him give him just a little bit of hello on the exit, and that sent Butler into the pit wall that protects the Patriot pits.
His car, I mean, looks like it's hit the wall, but he's continuing on. I've got an eye on him here. Looks like he's going to pass the pits, so I think the car must be driving okay. He's not electing to go ahead and come in, take a fast repair, and add some diesel.
Well, that's what Nick Love is doing. So he was amongst those guys, I think. He's come in. This should be pretty quick. Nick Love's staying in the car. It's not super quick just yet. I wonder if he's had enough, but we'll see. Doesn't look like he's going to be competitive in this one. After that, it's pretty competitive. Your top three still. Wire. Kosick still in third there.
Yeah, I think our top six are still in with a shout. All the way back to Cofford. He's trying to close up that gap to Hall and Kowalczyk. The biggest thing that would help them right now, I think, is if Dibble could get back up there and pester Wire just a little bit. Otherwise, I think with Wire out front, the pace might pick up here.
I would swear on anything you put in front of me to swear on that Nick Love has been caught speeding on pit lane. We're expecting pit stop times of 19 seconds. Penalty for speeding on pit lane is 40 seconds. I add those two numbers together and I get his actual pit stop time of 59 seconds.
Yeah, I have to imagine you're right on that one, David. Very good job on your maths.
Thank you. So who was quickest on the lap they've just completed? I think it was Shane Cameron down in seventh. He's found a bit of turn of speed as he's finding his momentum in this car. Again, one of those drivers we didn't see do a whole lot of warm-up or qualifying. And we all know diesel warm-up is more important.
Yeah, taking a look at some of our GPS data here from Nick Love's stop, he entered the pits at 57 miles an hour, and then continued up to 60 before slowing.
That's about 20 too much, isn't it?
Yeah, and that was too much for Jimmy with the gun today, so Nick had to sit for an extra 40 seconds.
Yeah, again, 1-for-1 road car on the road on the racetrack. These don't have a pit lane speed limiter.
Look at Justin Hall here making a move. Got a good run through the hog pin. Kowalczyk wiggled, got out towards the curbing, it looked like.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Justin's going to come back across onto the regular racing line. Kowalczyk will think about putting the Volkswagen Jetta nose back there, but I think it's too late on that one.
Yeah, you can see how much they hop around and squeal. I think a lot of that's just managing the right steering angle. It looks like some of these drivers, can really get into an understeer situation, and I guess I don't really have any tips on how to drive front wheel drive cars, so I just have to stop.
I've got the one and only tip, which is when you're going sideways at a wall at Sebring, try the throttle if the brake's not working. That's about it. That's about all I got. So, yeah, a car that is difficult to complete these passes in for the reasons you talked about. They put the traction down too well because they don't have a lot of power. There's no mistakes to be made in shifting the gears or anything. So you've really just got to position well, get lucky with how the car bounces on the curbs, and then hope to outbrake down in towards turn one. That's what Justin Hall's done, put him up into fourth, and they're not far away at all from the leaders. He's only 2 seconds from Kosick, and then it's click your fingers and you're at the leader, Tim Wire.
Yeah, and I see Dibble here starting to close the gap. He's in the tow, coming down here past start finish towards turn one. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough to make a move here.
Yeah,
right to the bumper.
Yeah, biggest braking zone on the lap, but it's still not a massive stop because you're not arriving at gigantic speed, and this is ABS equipped car. Different lines across the curb there, and Wire sort of gets far enough across it. The inside tires get to the grass, and that seems to open up the line without launching the inside tires as aggressively across the curbing. That could be the secret.
Yeah, it looks like the top three cars there all using a lot of curb. Must feel very confident here. Different lines, though, different turn-in points there among our top two. Oh, and as our leader slides off.
Yeah,
and I think this is a great example of what we're talking about here. Typically, that would have been a change for the lead, but he was just able to keep his foot in it with the front-wheel drive into the grass and, actually pull out a gap here into the top of the roller coaster.
Yeah, pull the nose around on the extra little bit of pavement of the Patriot course. If he was just a tiny bit wider, he would have been in that Kowalczyk almost hitting the walls part of the circuit.
All right, so let's get a gap here back to Hall. He's at 3 seconds right now. We'll check that again here in a few laps, see if he's closing that down now that he's got around Kowalczyk.
He's matched his personal best lap of the race, which was a 39.2. So he's motoring along pretty well. The front tire temperatures for this car are something remarkable, though.
Oh, yeah. I would imagine that you could run most of the season on the rears and need to change the fronts every couple hours. They have to do all the work, the turning, the making the car go, the making the car slow.
Road car tire, they slide a lot to give that grip as well. So they build up a lot of heat, famously.
Wire getting very comfortable with that line through turn 7, pushing it again out onto the Patriot course, which is completely fine, just risking danger there. But nice steady gaps up front, though.
Not under quite the same pressure from Dibble or Cossack as he was earlier on, that's for sure. So gets plenty of the left-hand curb and then stays off it, the right-hand curb at the hog pen, and then just gets a little bit on the exit. I'm seeing maybe 1.5 miles an hour gain in the slipstream. So it's so tiny, but it's there. And it just keeps Dibble and Cossack in touch. Jordan Butler is pitting, maybe a little on the early side, but it is a very, very wide pit window for these cars. You could almost pit lap one, and we'll see how deep into the race they go before they are forced to pit. But for Butler, fingers crossed on him that this looks a bit closer to 20 seconds than 60 seconds.
He is taking tires here. I think that's going to be a little bit of a penalty to some of the other cars. I think we'll see some cars maybe go without the tires here, but 19.7 for Butler, so good stop.
Yeah, it's got to be fronts, I think. Pretty quick stop all around.
Yeah, I saw they whipped both sides of the car, so not sure. Might have went ahead and changed the rears as well.
Getting a really good look underneath, make sure there's still any oil left. So that was 13 laps into the race for Jordan Butler before he pitted.
Yeah, it's still very close here at the front, though, with Dibble continuing to ride along with VIR. I almost wonder do you think he's trying to save any fuel here, or do you think it's just trying to hang on for dear life?
Not sure, and I'm on one hand, you're not going to save a whole lot of fuel because they just don't use a lot, but they also don't refill very quick at all. It takes 10 seconds per gallon that you want to refuel, something like that. So yeah, just a little bit could be something.
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe save a second or two, and that's going to be more than you can do right now on the racetrack. Trying to get away, get clear for 2 seconds, I think without a mistake would be fairly tough. And if I'm the driver of the 69, and I think I have the pace, I think I'm just going to sit there and try to save, maybe shorten up my stop a little, sharpen my pencil for the pit stops here, and get ready. I think Andy Cossack will be right on the number with the fuel. Tim's been a little hit and miss from my experience with whether he nails the pit strategy perfectly.
Looping out the final corner, no pits for the leaders yet. Looking a little 4-horse race-ish, because to Kowalczyk and Coffard, you can see that just a little further back down the shot on the pit straight.
Yeah, and Justin Hall's closed it down to 2.6 seconds, so over the last couple of laps, he's made up just about a half a second.
What you're hoping now is to get another 0.6 or so that puts you just the 1 second behind third place.
Right, getting that DRS zone.
You know those kids' toys where there's like this segmented caterpillar and you pull it around on a string and it jingles? I think you just need to be the segment of the caterpillar that's within a second of the next segment of the caterpillar.
For sure. These momentum cars are often that way here on iRacing, and especially at a track like VIR. The North Course maybe doesn't lend itself to it as much as the full, but that main straightaway is still very long. So there's a lot of time that you can make up with, using that toe.
in a car where everyone is just so equal on the performance. Otherwise, everything you can get is of great value. They're sliding around a little more than they were earlier. The track is only subtly heating up. We might be at 90 Fahrenheit or something now, but as the tires also heat up, there's a little more slide to the cars.
Yeah, but the pace hasn't dropped off much. The leader is within about 0.2 of his best, so 2200ths. So yeah, I don't think that the tires are going to be worth changing at this point, but who knows? Maybe they would fall off a cliff at the end. But it does look like the leader's beginning to struggle a bit. They're through turn 4. Dibbler closing up the gap, evening out here a bit. Through the snake. Andy Kosik looking on with Justin Hall chasing from not far behind.
Different lines in, up the hill. Pretty well flat out, but just got to make sure you follow the correct line across the hills of the infield.
Yeah, I think if I'm trying to put myself in the mind of one of these drivers, it's through that section of the course, there's not a whole lot you can do to make up time. I don't think that there's something. Oh, and here we go. Mistake out of the lead. But I was going to say, but I think you just have to focus on not making the mistakes. And then right here we go. In the danger turn once again.
Hog pen curve, something savage, and immediately Tanner Dibble was turning the nose down underneath, getting the inside down the curved pit straight and to the inside of turn number 1.
I thought the 50 car there of Andy Kosik might have a look, try to get a little 2-for-1 deal, but goes ahead and sits in third. This allows Justin Hall to close up even more. I think he will be within the DRS zone momentarily.
And it just brings Justin Hall another half a second closer. His Caterpillar's jingling now. Big bounce across the curb there from Wire again. It's like you put the car fraction of an inch away from where it was the lap before, and it bounces completely differently off the curbs and off the bumps. There's a big unpredictability to it. Dibble, did he run that one a little wide? Came back for a super late apex.
Yeah, for sure. Dibble looked like missed turn 7. We're approaching the halfway point in the race here as they come around next time. If I'm Justin Hall's crew chief, I'm going to go ahead and call him into the pits right now. He's, closed down on this group. They can do nothing but slow him down, get in the way right now. I think you go ahead, get the stop, get the fuel, come back out, and try to get in the clean air.
It's tough to work out when you're in the car, and it's tough even for me looking at the timesheet to work out where he'd come out, but they're going to try it. A bit more aggressive on the pit entry from Albert than from Wire. He didn't want to get caught speeding on pit entry. That was not the part of the track you typically expect to see that kind of excitement, but there's a few others going to follow in as well.
Yeah, hopefully neither of them got a speeding penalty there, but very aggressive by Hall. It looked like he had committed to that strategy. Wire went to the strategy as well. Yeah, it's just tough from where the crew chief's sitting. He couldn't see them both, didn't know to call him off. I guess need to give him a little better instruction next time to, do the opposite. But looks like both of them get out without serving any penalties, so no speeding on the way in. They're both together with a couple of quick stops, the quickest 2 we've seen so far, an 18.9 for Tim and a 19.2 for Justin.
And the question of traffic solves itself as well, because a handful of the drivers from behind them have also been through the lane and stopped now. So you're just looking at Tanner Dibble, Andy Kosik, Alex Coffard, and Shane Cameron yet to have stopped. They make that fuel drop last a little longer up in Alaska.
Well, I'm just glad they put in the regulation amount to start the race today. Mark Kruger was another car that we just saw on pit road from Kruger Tune Motorsports. Getting back out there.
Here comes your leader again. So be almost no one left who hasn't made a pit stop. Stibble and Cossack come in. Coffard following, I think.
And Cameron. So this must just be about as far as you can go. Or everyone really wants the tires. So I've got my eye on the Alaskan contingent. Coffert's car is going in the air. Cameron's is not. So I guess we'll see someone here do no tires. See how much of an advantage it is.
So that's everyone stopped. Really quick one from Cossack. I think he's going to be your race leader out of this. Dibble comes out of the lane in second. Wire barreling down on him towards turn 1. Barreling in maybe a little hot. So Cossack is the leader with a really, really slick little stop.
Yeah, well, I hate to say I told you so, but Andy Cossack has really tightened up his pit crew's performance over the last season.
I think it was one tire. I think he got on front left only on that one at the Most Mint Racing.
Well, not a bad call. I mean, that's the one that's going to get the abuse. It's economical, and I got him out here in the lead.
Yeah, sure has. So on his outlap, he's under a bit of pressure. He runs just a little bit wide, but so does Wire. In the background there, it's the same 4 guys once again after the pit stop sequence, but Cossack from Dibble, from Wire, and Justin Hall in 4th. I think the Kowalczyk's done pretty well through that as well, because long stop for Coffard, long stop for Wilding. So Kowalczyk's up into 5th because of that, I think.
Do we want to ride along with Justin here for a lap and crank it up? See what the driver's perspective of this nice 3-way battle for the lead's going to look like?
Because you put the idea to us, I think we do. Let's have a look as the lead changes. There goes the Volkswagen turbo diesel sounds. Justin Hall's trying to stay in touch with those in front. Dibble leads pretty close between Cossack and Wire. Can't help but notice how upright you sit in the racing seat in these.
Yeah, it's I get it. I feel like it might take some getting used to, but you know, I've sat in a lot of different racing seats in my day, and they somehow seem to make them all fit. So I'm sure we could make do if we had to, David.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah, so Dibble there, while we were riding along, making a move, very aggressive here. He's trying to get away. This is the second half of the race, so there is no more waiting for the stop, riding, saving fuel. What you have now is what you have. So I like this move by the 69. Let's go ahead and make a move. You know, the crew on the wall probably telling him Tim is his real competition. It's been obvious in all the sessions, so now he's trapped back in third. I think now's the time to strike if you're Tanner Dibble in the lead.
It's these final corners that make all the difference. Dibble gets a bit of air. Cossack gets a lot more air off the hog pen. Oh my goodness. Dibble getting just a tiny bit of the grass before the exit curb saves him on that one. Again, we're talking just fractions of an inch away from disaster in some cases. That bobble
gonna have a look.
is going to put him under pressure.
Yeah, Wire having a look here around the outside turn one. Cossack able to protect it, though. Get a good drive off and head down towards turn two. But right now, it looks like Dibble is able to build a bit of a lead, and Hall is hanging around. Kowalczyk seems to be a man on an island, though, but he's going to be shortly joined by Cameron. And without the tires, it'll be interesting to see how Cameron's pace compares to Cofford's.
Well, we did just see the fastest lap of the race out of Tim Wire. Now he gets a little maybe out of shape, but yeah, there definitely could be just this little performance window from those new tires, but it's not a massive or super noticeable advantage. The battling, though, from second and third is helping out Dibble. He's got more than a second of lead. He's got almost 2 seconds here. So the defense from Cossack letting Dibble get away.
Yeah, and that lead was less than a second 1 lap ago. So Tim Wire, I'm sure, will be getting impatient here, looking to get by, but he's just not close enough right now. A little bit farther back, though, is a pretty good battle among teammates with Jordan Butler and John Wilding.
Yeah, the other pair, if you will.
Yeah. And yeah, John was all over there with Butler, so it'll be interesting here. They're only 20 seconds back, not that far adrift of Cofford. So a mistake out of Cofford, Cameron, or Kowalczyk, I think, bring them into striking distance of the gentleman from Florida.
I did meet these two gentlemen in Florida, Butler and Wilding. No favorites, so we'll see how this plays out, though.
Yeah, a couple of good chaps. Wow, so yeah, Dibble's pulled away enough that now he's not inside the famous red box. And Hall has arrived on the scene. We have a 3-car battle.
Yeah, Cossack's been defending very well. He's tough to get past, but it is not the same speed that Dibble's able to do at the lead, and it's starting to look quite nice for Dibble. Another big bounce off that curb for Cossack. I think the driver with the best run of the 3 here is Justin Hall. So what happens in the slipstream as they curve around the pit straight down towards turn number 1? Well, it's middle of the road from Cossack. Wire's position to try to outbrake. Hall tucked right in. I think Wire is going to move this one up into second.
Yeah, he gets the job done. Hall just watching steady there, letting the guys have the battle. Andy gets a good run off the corner. Oh, wow. Able to stay on the pavement there. Thought he might push wide in the approach to NASCAR.
Again, you see how close you get to the grass, and your life flashes before you in this car in that kind of moment, and he just held it on.
Yeah, this right here is a section where I feel like everyone's going to be pretty equal through the snake. Once you get around to 5B, it's going to be flat for everyone all the way here to turn 7. About the same line for all the drivers through there. So no real difference change, but I guess the real story is right now the gap from P1 back to P2 is right around 3.7 seconds, and it'll be about 11 laps to go this time by. So we're going to need around 0.4 of a second difference from Tim if he's going to be able to challenge Dibble, and I'm just not sure that there's that big a pace difference between two of them. Oh, and there's a mistake.
Wire pushing hard through the hog pen, trying to close that gap up, and like earlier in the race, just gets the grass, goes on that little mowing vacation, and Cossack and Hall back into second and third, and it's 4.5 seconds lead that Tanner Dibble has now.
Man, I feel like I'm the commentator curse embodied. Maybe I should talk about the leader here. So Tanner Dibble just turned a 39.2. His best is a 38.8. So still running pretty close to his absolute pace. We're 6 laps into this tire run. The gap, he's not quite pulling away this lap like he was the laps before. He made a huge amount of time at the end of last lap due to the mistakes of the other drivers. I think Andy Cossack had to lift to avoid wire.
Certainly doesn't help you go quicker through there when in front of you is someone else messing it up or going off. In fact, it's always too easy to make the same mistake that you see someone else making. You think you'd learn from it, but you can get suckered into it.
Yeah, it's very easy to think, oh, well, if he can go through that corner that fast, so can I. Well, it turns out he can't, and now you can't either. So that sometimes happens. It looks, though, like the 3 here of Cossack, Hall, and Wire are all tidied up together, though. Still losing pace, but I think we're going to have a good battle for the podium spots. A little farther back, though, Shane Cameron.
He's gotten around. Yeah, he's gotten around Charles Kowalczyk, and then Coffard's ranging up on the both of them. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see towards the end here. Then a good run back at it from Kowalczyk. It's then going to push out a little wide, try to cut back underneath. They're racing here.
Yeah, this is a good little 3-car battle. And Shane, he's got a lot of experience. I would say this is probably his home track. Although an Alaska boy, he now resides in North Carolina and is driven at VIR a number of times in real life. So sure he's feeling familiar, and sometimes just that familiarity can lead to some tints here late in the race, knowing exactly where you need to put the car and where not to put it. Oh, and come to think of it, yes, Shane actually raced for me at this race last year. So he's been on the course and done very well. So glad to see that experience paying off here as he pulls away from Kowalczyk, and Cofford now putting the heavy pressure on, seeing if he's able to get past the Love Racing driver.
Cofford was in 5th before the pit stops, and it went about 10 seconds longer, so probably an extra gallon than it needed to. Now Kowalczyk just kisses that dirt, and it's time for Coffard to put the power down, shift up through the gears, and try to take him on this one.
Yeah, this should be an easy job here, and I think Kowalczyk probably won't fight it too hard, just want to ride. Gives him a little look, but really wasn't trying there. Cameron, though, pushing out a little wide. This is going to allow those two to come up a little bit closer. Yeah, really, quite the close battle up here at the front, though. 2, 3, 4 under a blanket. Tim putting the pressure on the back of Hall, who's trying to get up onto Cossack.
Yeah, Tim Wyatt, the pole sitter, the fastest lap of the race, but it's the little inconsistencies and that black hole that you seem to get sucked into on the exit of the hog pen that's put him back in a fourth here.
Yeah, so with just going to be 8 more trips around when we come back around to the main straight here as they enter the top of the roller coaster. I think, I know I've said it before, but Tim, you know, he has the pace. Maybe he realized at this point right here's the race. He can wait till, you know, a lap or 2 to go. Just try to stay calm here, save the tires, and pounce and be ready to make your move. Because I'm just not sure if he gets up there to try to fight them and get second place now that it's going to allow him to get away.
It's a bit of thermal management maybe. If you can not push so hard for a lap or 2, the tires might cool down from being the surface of the sun and lava to give you a little more grip later on.
As Kowalczyk going through on Cofford, who is ahead of Cameron now, so not exactly sure what happened with the reordering of positions, but yeah, I saw Kowalczyk in the background send it in deep, made it stick, and was able to get around the Alaska buddies.
You're not going to believe this. Someone made a mistake at hog pen.
I think there's snakes in the hog pen. Wow,
the curbs might be a bit, you know, pre-spring-loaded trampolines in them. That's catching people out. Hello, little hip and shoulder there. Shane Cameron says, "Hey, buddy," to Alex Coffard. Sends him off the track. And that's 2 fellas with big hips and shoulders.
Banging into each other, so I'm sure no hard feelings. And Shane really getting his nose up under the back of Kowalczyk here, trying to pressure him into making a mistake here into the hog pen. Kowalczyk nice and tidy. It's going to be 7 more circuits this time.
Coffard's motoring along. Kowalczyk feels the need to defend. We haven't seen anyone successfully get around the outside of turn number 1 in these cars. And I don't think we're about to break that pattern either.
No, but I think that Shane, he's sniffing around here. I think you could make a move there if he gets a little closer coming out of 1 next time into NASCAR, get alongside, you would have position for turn 4. Another idea might be to try to go around the outside of NASCAR, get what might be considered the outside going into 4, but you would be set up for the inside for the next 2 right-handers. Oh, a little bit of contact there with Cameron into Kowalczyk coming up through 7. Cofford lifting out to keep off his bumper.
Yeah, the concertina effect in full effect up the hill there. If you're right at their bumper as you approach the braking zone and you brake at the same point, well, you're going to be in their bumper as the speed changes. It's all about the bounce at the hog pen, and all of them try to stay off that right-handed apex curb.
What?
Hello? What?
Okay.
Cofford, what are you doing? Also, what's happening up at second place?
Yeah.
Cossack's under a lot of pressure, and he's gone wide off onto the grasses. Just
Oh, no.
going to go through into that second place.
Yeah, so Hall making that move that I talked about, getting on the inside at NASCAR. and it looked like just kind of almost scared Cossack off. He was trying to make sure he left plenty of room. When he turned in, just got a bit of a wiggle, and then when he corrected it, he went off.
So that,
but he's not out of this. Wire looking very racy behind Hall. Cossack still close by. I think with 5 laps to go here, I think he can get back in this if those two in second and third start racing.
This is the Volkswagen Jetta Racing. It's such a boring car with such exciting racing. Second, third, and fourth, completely undecided here. Same is true back there with Shane Cameron and Kowalczyk and Alex Coffard. You could imagine any order between them in just a couple laps time. 8 minutes, 5 laps.
Yeah, it's tough to get away. It's almost like super speedway racing at this point when everyone's tires are worn out and the laps are running short. The guy with the ultimate 1 lap pace, it just doesn't quite matter as much. It's more about car positioning, staying in the draft. And as we see here, Cameron almost able to break the draft as the two behind, Kowalczyk and Coffard, continue to race hard down into turn 1.
Coffard lined up a good exit off of the hog pen, now squeezes a bit at the apex, and he's going to do the Justin Hall move, but a little earlier and maybe a little tidier. So Coffard will move up, going around the outside of that turn number 1, just because I said he couldn't, probably.
That would be a reason that he would try, that's for sure. As we see, is that Wilding closing in here. So, yeah. It might have Kowalczyk might have someone else to race before this is over, but Coffard and Cameron look to have broken away now. So,
big moment for Kowalczyk right before the snake, and then another bit of a moment, oh my goodness, off at turn 7, and immediately he's under pressure from Wilding. So we've got 3 battles going on in the final 10 minutes from VIR North.
Yeah, this battle for second place is pretty hot. Tim Wire with a nice run out of the hog pen that time. Looks like the gap is closing down. Going to have a look around the outside. Is he just trying to dupe Justin into covering it? Justin's going to take the middle. Oh, Tim trying to repeat what Coffard did just a minute ago, but decides to slot in. Both of them get a good run off the corner. Wire, a better look down here towards turn 2. Justin crosses back across his nose as they approach NASCAR. Wire with the inside move there. Oh, and they touch. Oh, both of them regain control, and Cossack is now on the scene.
Front wheel drive spec, both of them just mash the throttle, spool up the turbo, and Hall will hold on. Wire did very well to try to get to the inside there, maybe got in a little hot, and this all just gives such a free kick to Tanner Zibble. Almost a 10-second lead in a car that it looked like it was impossible to pull away that much.
Yeah, I'm not sure that... Yeah, I think Tim maybe did get in there a little deep. Justin left, just enough room, but yeah, I'm not sure that Tim was going to be able to maintain that line running side by side, but luckily they both got away with it and are able to continue to race here.
It's how you got to race this car. They're a stock car, if you will, and they are just so evenly matched. You've got to maybe bump a little bit to get past sometimes.
Oh yeah, I think so. Speaking of the bump and grind, back there in 5th and 6th, Cameron and Coffard both having a good look at each other here as we have about 3 to go for them. I think Coffard might have a look here. He's got a nice run.
I think Coffard's quicker, but Cameron might be more stubborn even. So we've seen a lot of different attempts to pass in the opening sector here. You could tell Coffard wanted to get around the outside to get to that inside again, and Cameron knew that was on and wasn't going to let him do it.
Oh yeah, no, he was providing no quarter there, but I think there was still some racing room left on the outside. Shane said, go out there if you want to try. Oh, and here's a great run. Terrible 5A by Cameron, but as we all know, and I learned, the 24 5B is not a passing corner, so Coffard just delivers all that energy right into Cameron's bumper, pushes him onto the snake. Again, as they get to the top of turn 7, they make contact.
Kowalczyk went wide behind, and the teammates of Wilding and Butler did sneak on through, so it's been a rough couple laps maybe for Kowalczyk. He started a bit further back, moved his way up into 5th, and then he's been bullied in quick succession by a couple of different teammates.
Yeah, let's see, I have to take a look here. Yeah, he's on similar pit strategy. Not sure, just kind of fell back there in the second half of the race. Not sure, maybe having trouble with the car. But up front with our leader, Tanner Dibble, he's not having any trouble. He's extended that lead out to 8 seconds now.
Yep, and that is a lot of time in a Volkswagen Jetta world, and it's just 2 laps to go for him. So next time around, he'll pick up that white flag.
And I think the race of consequence here is VIR and Cossack. I just saw VIR get in way too hot into turn 4, take a lot of curb, bounce out wide on the exit. That allowed Cossack, who took the tidy line over there to the left, to get a bit of an advantage here. So I think we might see the white flag next time by the stand. So Andy's going to have to really get it done here. It looks like Tim was able to get a great run up the hill.
Yeah, again, that a bit wide, bit of grass out almost towards the barriers at the top of turn 7 for Cossack didn't help him carry the momentum. And it is about to be the start of the final lap. A glory lap for Dibble, but there are so many other battles going on from 2nd all the way back down to 8th between Hall, Wire, Cossack, between Cameron and Coffard, and between John Wilding and Jordan Butler. How do the teammates play that one out? Well, their friend and teammates, Hannah Dibble, she'll be proud of him leading the way.
Yeah, and the best news about being the last lap is we only have to go through Hogpen one more time in full anger. So
Cameron's going to defend from Coffard again, who once again has a good run. Lets him know about it. Hello, there's a little bit of extra road as the pit exit blends across there, and Coffard said, yeah, if you're using the inside, you're going to use that too. And he's going to look to get around the outside of him in turn 1 again. The problem when you start a game like that is it's open season.
Yeah, what goes around comes around, I think.
There's lots of sayings for it.
Yeah, I thought Cameron might try to hang tough there around the outside of NASCAR. It looks like he's just going to instead try to wear out the bumper. As this race is getting down here in the last lap. Wow,
too wide up through the hill. Hello, what a move from Cameron there to try to pull that one off, and then he's going to jump back in front.
And yeah, about here on the main straightaway, all by himself.
Tanner Dibble is going to pick up that checkered flag. He fought hard in a 4-way battle, but then when they started fighting behind him, he pulled away, and he's going to be the winner of round 15 of the ChampCar iRacing series from VIR North. Behind Hall, I think he's pretty happy with 2nd place after starting 9th on the grid. Behind him, Wyatt and Cossack. And Cameron looks to still be in front of Coffard. They touched here a lap ago.
Coffard, yeah, getting the look. Oh, he turns him. Oh, and as they cross the line, I think Cameron was still ahead as they crossed.
Yep. Yep, the scoring has Shane Cameron as having crossed the line in 5th place ahead of Alex Coffard.
Wow, that was amazing.
Funny
And it looks like John Wilding got the win in the other inter-team rivalry that we had there.
Yeah, all but Mark Kruger have crossed the checkered flag now. Kruger, the last car on the lead lap, but also the last car running. So everyone who finished on the lead lap in that one, it turns out. Well, I don't know what to tell you about Shane Cameron and Alex Coffard, other than I believe the kids say when you mess around, you find out. A great chart for that. Let's look at the results then. That was, again, a very boring car that produces very exciting racing. And Tanner Dibble, be forgiven if he needs a nap now after that one, because it was a bit lonely for him towards the end. And he picks up the win from Justin Hall, Tim Wire, Cossack in 4th there. Shane Cameron, biggest mover in the field, 13th on the 12th. I had to add single-digit numbers together, and I couldn't do it. 12th on the grid to 5th, from just behind Alex Coffard, John Wilding, Jordan Butler. Kowalczyk and Kruger, the last cars on the lead lap there, and Nick Love ended up retiring a little bit after his early pit stop and penalty, and Ben Sandberg only made it 3 laps. Let's see who we got.
Yeah, I think we have the 3rd place driver here waiting. Let me go ahead and see if we can get Tim.
We do.
Hello.
Hi, Tim. It's Alex Albert up here in the booth.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, how you doing? Good run out there today. Can you talk us through, the beginning of your weekend? It looked like a really solid pace in practice and qualifying.
Yeah, I had pretty decent pace and was able to lay down a decent lap in qualifying, and then I kept trying to really hit that curb and hog pen the stupidest way, and I think I had about a 2.5 second lead in the beginning there, and I just barely touched it, and it just took me off. And then I think I had done another time in the race too. But oh well, overall good race, fun race. Had a good race with Justin there at the end, and a good race with Andrew. So overall it was good.
Yeah. So talk to us about the middle part of the race there. Were you guys trying to get the lead, and were you really pushing, or it looked like it was really hard to pass, so we didn't know if maybe you guys are just trying to save your equipment, save the diesel, and wait till after the stops.
Yeah, actually, Justin and I were just talking about that. It's, basically it seemed like the only place to really pass was the front straightaway after you got a really good run coming down the hill and you had to dive bomb people into turn 1. Otherwise, you were just trying to move people. So it made it tough. Once you get back in traffic, it really doesn't matter what your lap times are. But, overall, it was still a good close racing, so I guess you can't complain.
We're glad you had fun. And you've joined us all season. Is there any sponsors you need to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Honeybee Base. That's actually one of the presenting partners for Team Sailing, and just ChampCar in general. And you guys for putting this on. We enjoy racing and iRacing with you guys. Enjoy racing and real racing with ChampCar, and it's just a fun place to be. So we appreciate you guys having us. Yeah,
and when will we see Team Sailing's back at the track?
Ooh, we haven't quite finalized our 2023 schedule yet, but we've got a couple big tracks I think we're going to head to. So I'm not allowed to let the cat out of the bag, but we're looking forward to it.
It was a lot of fun racing with you at Pittsburgh, and it always is. So look forward to seeing you guys next time. And thanks again for racing. And that's Tim Wire, your 3rd place finisher.
Great to hear from him. We are going to get our full podium standing by to have a chat with as well. For Wire, in very good spirits for the pole sitter, the fastest lap, and not coming away with the big biscuits at the end. 2nd place, Justin Hall is going to join us. Hey, Justy. Maybe not an exciting car, but it was exciting racing for 60 minutes for you.
Yeah, that... I wasn't expecting much on this race and was pleasantly surprised. It was great battle at the end there.
Talk us through maybe some of the pit strategy, because we saw this is a car that doesn't refuel particularly quickly, even if it doesn't use much fuel, diesel in the first place. But then also some people were changing sort of the front tires and didn't seem to see much advantage out of that.
Yeah, so that's one of those things I wish I maybe practiced a little bit ahead of time. I assumed that the tires were going to take too long for the fuel, so I took none. I believe I forget his name. The guy who won took the fronts and was able to still, come out clear ahead. So it's definitely hurting on that. And then also Tim's braking point for the pit entry was kind of conservative, so I nearly ran him over there. So that was another thing that kind of hurt on the pit strategy.
Well, I've been looking at the participation of the season. Of course, the season champions are going to get 1,500 champ car bucks to put towards their racing in 2023, but they're also giving away 1,500 in the participation. And I think you might have ticked off enough races after this one if you raced last round.
Yeah, buddy, that's why I'm here. I'm just here for my participation credit.
We'll print you off an award from MS Paint for that one, I'm sure. And then final round is coming up. It's going to be 2 hours in the Ford Mustang at Sebring. That's a little more up your alley.
Yeah, local track-ish, Florida, and so that should be a good combo. Definitely looking forward to that one.
Okay, well, congrats on that second. Plenty of moves up through the field and finishing it on the podium.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Yeah, thank you, Josie.
Well, we can move now to our winner, because we've managed to grab Tanner Dibble. Really close sort of four-way fight for a lot of that race, and you come up trumps.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm not sure what happened. I guess they were just battling a lot back there. But yeah, I had just gotten a nice groove with the car after the pit stop and getting past. I think it was I forget who it was. Was it Tim? No. It was Justin. I think that came out in front of me in the pits. Getting past him was the crucial move for me for sure.
Got some teammates out there. Did you bounce any ideas off each other? Did that help at all?
Yeah, absolutely. They Jordan Butler was a bit of my guinea pig, so to speak, because we weren't sure if we were going to get free tires, at least free front tires, that is, with the amount of fuel we needed. So yeah, he confirmed that it was pretty much free front tires for me, and that I think was definitely key because my tires would have been toast if I hadn't taken them.
Well, maybe a little bit of a late entry from you, but if we put together another full season schedule for 2023, is the ChampCar iRacing series somewhere you find yourself a little more at home at now?
Yeah, for sure. I run in another league that also races Wednesday nights, so maybe I can try and convince them to push them either a little bit later or earlier, because I enjoy both leagues for sure. I think this is my second race in this league, and both of them have been a lot of fun.
That's a pretty strong strike rate. Congratulations to you. One round left that hopefully isn't too much of a clash. Would love to see you at Sebring in the Mustang. Tell us about what's on the car for you and the fellas.
Say again?
Tell us
Sorry?
about the beautiful livery we're looking at.
Oh, okay. To be honest, that's all Wilding and Butler. They found that livery on Trading Paints and they thought it was hilarious, so they were matching. And then when I told them I should be able to do this race tonight, they were like, "All right, well, you got to run the Haynes livery." So it's just jokes. It's fun.
It's worked out better for you than them. You can go ahead and rub that one in after round 11. Congrats.
Cheers. Have a good one.
Well, Alex, always great to hear from our podium and to hear from our winner. And all of them sounded mostly awake after 60 minutes racing a diesel Jetta.
Yeah. Well, you know, it really gets the blood pumping there with that door handle action we saw. And, you know, as the drivers mentioned, passing was very tough tonight. So when they decided, you know, they wanted to make their move, they really had to commit and time the brakes perfectly. Really gets the blood pumping, gets the adrenaline flowing. And I think these guys might be up for a couple more hours just trying to relax. But it was some great racing. I'm glad they did it for us and put on a great show.
And there's just one round left for the ChampCar iRacing series in 2022. It is November 9th, not far away. Go and mark that one in 2 weeks' time at Sebring in the Ford Mustang. It's V8 power on the circuits of Florida. We've got championship prize money to give away. We've got drivers who still want to check their 12 boxes to get their name in the hat to also win some prize money to go real wheel-to-wheel racing in the 2023 season. And of course, it's never too late to join us. Forum.champcar.org has all the information, the schedule, how to join the league, or even how to get on iRacing if it's something that tickles your fancy. We've got all the info and some helpful people there. Congrats go to Tanner Dibble, our winner from VIR North. And he seemed pretty pleased about that one. Make sure you subscribe to us here on HJBC because we will be bringing you coverage of that final round from Sebring. But that's all from VIR. From myself, David Haynes, Alex Albert, Michael Derby. Thanks for joining us. See you in 2 weeks at Sebring.